Welcome to ECO 442, Study Session 13, Decision Theory 2. Introduction. In this lecture, we continue the analysis of decision theory started in the last lecture. We examine decision under risk and also consider situations involving the use of decision theory. Objectives. At the end of this lecture, you shall be able to analyze decision problems under risk, as well as when the decision is sequential. A. Expected value. In many real-world situations, it is common for the decision maker to have some idea about the probabilities of occurrence of the different outcomes or states of nature. These probabilities may be based on the decision maker's personal opinions about future events or on data obtained from markets, surveys, expert opinions, and so on. As noted previously, when the probability of occurrence of each state of nature can be assessed, the problem environment is called decision-making under risk. The most widely used decision-making criteria under risk is expected value or expected payoff principle. The expected value or expected monetary value is a weighted average of decision outcomes in which each future state of nature is assigned a probability of occurrence. The optimum decision is to select strategy with the highest expected payoff. For payoff matrix in terms of cost, you will select the strategy with the least expected payoff. You can also apply the method to a regret table when it is referred to as the expected opportunity loss or expected regret principle. In this case, you also select minimum expected opportunity loss. Assume n possible outcomes. The expected value can be obtained by the equation below, where x high equals to outcome high and p bracket x equals to probability of outcome high. Note that the EV represents the log-run average payoff, although the actual payoff from a decision will be one of the payoff listed in the decision table. EV is, however, an acceptable criterion for many business decisions since companies make similar decisions on a repeated basis over time. B. Expected value of perfect information. Occasionally, additional information is available or can be purchased regarding future events, enabling the decision maker to make a better decision. For example, a company could hire an economic forecaster to determine more accurately the economic conditions that will occur in the future. However, it would be foolish to pay more for this information than it stands to gain in extra profit from having the information. The information has some maximum value that is the limit of what the decision maker would be willing to spend. To compute the expected value of perfect information, first look at the decisions under which state of nature. If information that assured us which state of nature was going to occur, that is perfect information, could be obtained, the best decision for that state of nature could be selected. You can calculate the expected value of perfect information as follows. EVP high equals to EPP high minus EP high. When EVP high equals to expected value of perfect information, EP high equals to expected payoff with perfect information, EP high equals to expected payoff with incomplete information. C. Example 1. A bookstore sells a particular book of tax laws for 1,000 naira. It purchases the book for 800 naira per copy. Since some of the tax laws change every year, The copies unsold at the end of a year become outdated and can be disposed of for 300 naira each. According to past experience, the annual demand for this book is between 18 and 23 copies. Assuming that the order for this book can be placed only once during the year, the store manager needs to decide how many copies of the book to purchase for the next year. The probabilities of various demand is as follows. Demand 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Probability 0.05, 0.10, 0.30, 0.40, 0.10, 0.05. You are required to construct the payoff table for this problem. Determine the optimal copies to order using expected value or payoff. Calculate the expected value of perfect information. D. Solution 1. To construct the payoff table, note that the store manager has option of placing order for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 or 23 copies, while demand state of nature can also be any of these values. The payoff table is as follows. The expected value of each alternative is calculated as follows. Since the maximum expected value is 3,860 naira, the best course of action is to purchase 20 copies of the book. 111. The expected value with incomplete information is 3,860 naira, obtained in the previous solution. To obtain the expected value with perfect information, you will assume that the store manager knows when each of the possible quantity would be demanded and just purchase that quantity. For example, he would purchase 18 when 18 books are demanded. The calculation of the expected payoff under this situation is as follows. Thus, the expected value with perfect information is 4,110 naira. The expected value of perfect information is EVP high equals to EPP high minus EP high equals to 4,110 naira minus 3,860 naira equals to 250 naira. The bookstore cannot pay more than 250 naira per annum for obtaining perfect information. E. Marginal analysis with discrete distributions. So far, we have considered cases in which there are only a few alternatives and states of nature. What happens when we have a large number of alternatives? For example, a large restaurant might be able to stock from 0 to 100 cartons of donuts. Furthermore, demand could also range from 0 to 100 cartons per day. In this case, we have to analyze 101 possible alternatives and states of nature. This would require a very large decision table. When we can identify a marginal profit and loss, it is possible to use marginal analysis to obtain the best decision without using a large decision table. Marginal analysis is a decision-making approach that can help select the optimal inventory level. It involves two new terms, marginal profit and marginal loss. For example, suppose a daily paper costs 190 naira and can be sold for 350 naira per issue. But if a paper is not sold at the end of the day, it is completely worthless. It's zero salvage value. In this case, the marginal profit MP is the profit made by selling each additional paper, namely 160 naira per issue. The marginal loss ML is the loss caused by stocking but not selling. It will be 190 naira for every paper remaining at the end of the day. E. Marginal analysis with discrete contributions continue. Finding the best inventory level to stock is not difficult when we follow the marginal analysis procedure. Given any inventory level, we would only add another unit to our inventory level if its expected marginal profit equals or exceeds its expected marginal loss. This relationship is expressed symbolically as follows. First, we get P equals to probability that demand will be greater than or equal to a given supply, or the probability of selling at least one additional unit. 1 minus P equals to probability that demand will be less than supply. F. Example 2. Pleasure Cave is a dining spot with specialty in coffee and donuts. It buys the donut fresh daily from a large industrial bakery. The cave pays 4 naira for each carton containing 2 dozen donuts delivered each morning. Any cartons not sold at the end of the day are thrown away, for they would not be fresh enough to meet the cave's standards. If a carton of donuts is sold, the total revenue is 6,000 naira. You are required to determine the optimal stock, given the probability of possible daily sales as follows. G. Solution 2. The marginal profit per carton of donuts is 2 naira per carton. 6 naira per carton minus 4 naira per carton, and the marginal loss is 4 naira per carton minus 0 naira per carton equals to 4 naira per carton. Thus we get P equals to ML over MP plus ML equals to 4 over 4 plus 2 equals to 0.66. The cumulative probability table is as follows. It is clear that the condition is satisfied up to 6 units. Thus, the optimal decisions is the other 6 cartons each day. H. Marginal analysis with the normal distribution. When the product demand or sales follow a normal distribution, which is a common business situation, marginal analysis with normal distribution can be applied. First, we need to find 4 values. 1. The average or mean sales for the product. 2. The standard deviation of sales. 3. The marginal profit for the product, MP. 4. The marginal loss for the product, ML. Once these quantities are known, the process of finding the best stocking policy is somewhat similar to marginal analysis with discrete distributions. We let XOPT equals to optimal stocking level. Like before, you will first determine the value of ML divided by MP plus ML for the problem. Find the probability 1 minus P, which denotes the service level. Calculate XOPT using the relationship from which you calculate the optimal stocking as XOPT equals to Example 3. A. Demand for copies of the Tribune as U-High's newsstand is normally distributed and has averaged of 50 papers per day, with a standard deviation of 10 papers, with a ML of 40 naira and a MP of 60 naira. What is the optimal daily stocking policy? B. For another newspaper, the Daily Times, the ML is 80 naira and MP is 20 naira. The daily sales have averaged 100 with a standard deviation of 10 papers. What is the optimal daily stocking policy for the Daily Times? J. Solution 3. A. For this problem, P equals to ML over MP plus ML equals to 40 over 40 plus 60 equals to 0.4. And 1 minus P equals to 1 minus 0.4 equals to 0.6. With the average or mean sales for the products equals to 50, the normal distribution can be presented as follows. K. Sequential decision process and decision trees. In the preceding examples, each problem involved the selection of a course of action at a specified point in time. Any problem that can be presented in a decision table can also be graphically illustrated in a decision tree. In addition to this, sometimes a problem may involve a series of decisions, each dependent on the one preceding it. In these instances, a single-stage approach of the type previously demonstrated must be abandoned in favor of one that is appropriate for multi-stage problems. One relatively simple device for examining successive alternatives is the decision tree. A tree diagram is a graphic construction that represents the various alternatives in a decision problem as if they were branches of a tree. Each main branch of the tree represents an alternative course of action. The decision tree is simply a probability tree with the payoffs for the chosen alternatives identified at the end of each branch sequence. It is therefore similar to the payoff tables described and demonstrated earlier. However, the decision tree is not normally used when opportunity losses are involved. Instead, the basic decision criteria are those of maximizing expected gain and/or minimizing expected losses. All decision trees are similar in that they contain decision points or nodes and states of nature points or nodes. A decision node from which one of several alternatives may be chosen, or a state of nature node out of which one state of nature will occur. Analyzing problems with decision trees involve the following steps. 1. Define the problem. 2. Structure or draw the decision tree. 3. Assign probabilities to the states of nature. 4. Estimate payoffs for each possible combination of alternatives and states of nature. 5. Solve the problem by computing EVS for each state of nature node. This is done by working backward, that is, starting at the right of the tree and working back to decision node on the left. At each decision node, you will select the alternative with the best EV. Hi, example 4. A. Maxwell is the founder and president of Maxwell Consults, a profitable firm located in Lagos, Nigeria. Maxwell identifies his problem as follows: whether to expand its product line by manufacturing and marketing a new product, Maxwell Flour. Maxwell decides its alternatives are to construct 1. A large plant to manufacture the Maxwell Flour. 2. A small plant to manufacture the Maxwell Flour. 3. No plant at all. That is, it has the option of not developing the new product line. Maxwell determines there are only 2 possible outcomes with equal probabilities. 3. The market for Maxwell Flour could be favorable, meaning that there is a high demand for the product. 4. The market for Maxwell Flour could be unfavorable, meaning that there is a low demand. You are required to represent Maxwell problem in a decision tree. B. Solving the decision tree for Maxwell, assuming that he has analyzed its payoff to be as follows. C. Let's say that Maxwell has 2 decisions to make, with the second decision dependent on the outcome of the first. Maxwell has the option of conducting his own marketing research survey at a cost of 10,000. The information from a survey could help him decide whether to construct a large plant, a small plant, or not to build at all. Maxwell recognizes that such a market survey will not provide him with perfect information, but it may help quite a bit nevertheless. If he decides to conduct the market survey, there is a 45% chance that the survey results will indicate a favorable market and 55% chance that the survey results will be negative. You are required to solve this problem using decision tree. Assume the payoffs associated with the survey and the probabilities associated with survey results are as follows. Payoffs with survey. Probabilities. M. Solution 4. A. The decision tree for Maxwell's problem can be presented as follows. B. To solve the decision tree, you first insert the given payoffs at the extreme right end of the decision tree. You then work backward as follows. At node 1, EV equals to 0.5, 200,000 minus 0.5, brackets 180,000 equals to 10,000. At node 2, EV equals to 0.5, bracket 100,000 minus 0.5, bracket 20,000 equals to 40,000. Since 40,000 is the maximum EV, this is the solution. The solved decision tree is shown below. C. The final decision tree for this problem is shown in the next page. The solutions are obtained as follows. Given favorable survey results, EV node 2 equals to 0.78, brackets 190,000 plus 0.22 minus 190,000 equals to 106,400. EV node 3 equals to 0.78, brackets 90,000 plus 0.22 minus 30,000 equals to 63,600. EV node plant equals to 10.000. Decision. If the survey results are favorable, a small plant should be built. 2. Given a negative survey result, EV node 4 equals to 0.27, brackets 190,000 plus 0.73, brackets minus 190,000 equals to minus 87,400. EV node 5 equals to 0.27, brackets 90,000 plus 0.73, brackets minus 30,000 equals to 2,400. If no plants equals to 10,000. Decision. If the survey results are favorable, a small plant should be built. 3. Continuing on the path of the tree and moving backward, we compute EV of conducting the market survey. EV node 1 equals to 0.45 bracket 106,400 plus 0.55 bracket 2 4,000 equals to 49,200. 4. If the market survey is not conducted, EV node 6 equals to 0.50 bracket 200,000 plus 0.50 bracket minus 180,000 equals to 10,000. EV node 7 equals to 0.50 brackets 100,000 plus 0.50 brackets minus 20,000 equals to 40,000. EV no plants equals to 0. If the market survey is not conducted, a small plant is the best choice. 5. We move back to the first decision node and choose the expected value of conducting a survey is 49,200 versus an EV of 40,000 for not conducting the study. The best choice is to seek marketing information. If the survey results are favorable, Maxwell should construct a large plant, but if the research is negative, he should construct a small plant. End of study session 13. Thanks for listening.